Hey folks, how we doing? I don't know what day it is. It's first week of March. It's Saturday. But I'm down here in the wood yard and I've been cutting up a bunch of these piles of logs here. And you guys have seen me cut wood before, so I wasn't filming it. But I did want to show you something, a technique I use whenever you get a big round and you get to a certain age, your back doesn't want you picking that up. So instead of bringing the splitting maul and the wedge and all that stuff down here, and splitting it, you know, you can, let me move this camera over here. So you could set it up on its edge here, and I'll show you this with this log here. So instead of cutting the log like this, you could bring a splitter down, hit it here, and split it. It would cut it in half. But I don't, like I said, I don't carry a wedge with me anymore. I don't carry a split maul anymore. I don't feel like swinging those things anymore. So you can take your chainsaw and do what's called noodling. And this car go by. So what noodling is you don't cut it like you would when you split it. What you're trying to do when you split it is you're trying to pop that grain, because the grain's running this way in the log. It's running lengthwise. So when you take your chainsaw and you cut across here, all you're doing is pulling out little chunks, which is what you see right here. Because when I cut this way, I'm doing basically the same thing. I'm just cutting through all these little rings. And that's what you're doing up here. And it's really, one, hard on your chainsaw, hard on your back, and it takes forever. So what noodling does is, if you can see here, all these rings, there's a ring, there's a ring, there's, what your chainsaw is going to do is draw across here and pull in big noodles, if you will, big pieces of wood or big chunks of grain out of that wood, and it's so much faster, so much more efficient. So I'm going to show you what happens when you try to cut a log on top here, going what I call against the grain, and then we'll roll it over and we'll cut it with the grain, and we'll noodle this log, and you'll see the difference in the sawdust and really how much faster it is. I won't do it long up here because, again, it dulls your saw pretty quick. I will say, when you do this, you want a sharp saw. Be careful you don't take your rakers down too far, because it will dig in pretty good. This is not an exceptionally large log, but what they bring me aren't exceptionally large logs anymore. So let me get set up. I've already sharpened my saw, and we'll get with work here. See you in a minute. Okay, again, we're going to cut it against the grain first, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, that was a shortcut. Didn't do it very long. And we got down there maybe half an inch or so. But if you look at this fine stuff coming out of here, that's going to take forever to get through that log. I don't feel like bending over that long. So now I'm going to flip the log to it on the side and on the chainsaw. Again, I just sharpened this saw, so it's very sharp. But you can see back here, it's pretty fine. I mean, if my saw was cutting that way, going this way, I would sharpen it. So it's not ideal. Make sure you guys can see real quick. Hold on. Hammering away. And you'll see the noodles come out when I start to saw up and get on it. I didn't time that. Don't need to, but as you can see, it went right through that wood, and I'm done already. But there's what we get the noodle call from. See what we're pulling out here now? This long, stringy stuff, like noodles. But it cuts so much faster, so much easier. It's easier on your saw. It's easier on you. And you can make these into much more manageable pieces. Now, if I had a round, you know, like this big around, I would quarter it. Cut it once, flip those over, cut them again, and they're much more easier to get up on your splitter if you don't have a log lift, which I don't. So to save my back, I can cut these. Makes it much nicer. So that's the video today. Just a little tip. I was down here looking at these big logs, like, I need to make a video. What could I do? Well, there you go. So if you haven't tried that technique, please try it. You don't need a split maul. If you don't feel like swinging a split maul, these can make, you can control the cut. So, you know, you've all been out here splitting. So if you split, you might hit it and it might come through the crack and then veer off. And you haven't cut the whole log in half. You just took one chunk out of it. This here, you can control it, nice smooth cut, and you're all done. So there you have it, folks. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later. Bye.